everybody for coming here today. I'd like to thank audience, the government team, judge, and my esteemed partner here, Manny. So, the resolution today is the United States federal government should substantially change its policy on Guantanamo Bay. The United States, we take a stance that the United States federal government should not change its policy on Guantanamo Bay. Status quo is good. The reason why it's good is because we maintain hegemony. By maintaining our hegemony, we maintain our patriotism. Our patriotism then increases within the United States, and this is the land of the free, home of the brave, home of the free, land of the brave. Oh well, I apologize. Anyways, now, all right. Well, this is America. By increasing our patriotism, this is where people are allowed to have the American dream. By having the American dream, they're more inclined to have people migrate over here, migrate to the United States. Also, since the government did not give a criteria, the criteria for this debate will be net benefit analysis.
Yeah, that's actually, I realized that's what you're asking me. That's what I meant. So.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, net benefit analysis. Net benefit analysis. We both agree on that. So, now, by closing, having the executive branch to close down their plan, by having the executive branch to close down the Guantanamo Bay without going through Congress is a form of dictatorship. We don't want dictatorship in America. We left the the founding fathers left the monarchy to come here and to start a new form to form a republic. That's the type of government we have today. And in forming the republic, we have been able to sustain probably the most successful country to date because of the form of government that we have. We should not change that. We don't need a dictatorship. We need to follow the form. We need to have the policy go through Congress, not through. They should have had the policy go through Congress, not directly through the executive branch. He should not be signing an executive order. So that's a faulty right there. Furthermore, when they talk about the process through which the U.S. judicial court system, well, they said the executive branch was going to do it, but you can't do that because the United States Judicial Court, it goes against what they're saying. The executive branch is part of its own. Then you have the Supreme Court, and the subsidiaries of the Supreme Court are other federal courts. So you cannot have that within their plan because when it goes through the court system, you have local courts, and you have state courts, and you have federal courts, and then you get to the Supreme Court. So by only having the executive branch, the Supreme Court and all the other court systems have been taken out of the picture, so their plan is wrong right there. Disadvantages. You have disadvantages of their plan as well. You have disadvantages such as there's a hegemony. There's the if we end up releasing the prisoners, say we release some of the prisoners, what are they going to do? They're gonna go out there and they're going to start planning on more attacks. They've had a long time to plan attacks, and that has a possibility of creating another 9/11. By having another 9/11, you can if there was another event such as 9/11, it would decrease the economy because the stock markets would drop because everybody would be scared. That's what happens when you have big events such as that. When the economy is worse, you have right now the United States is in a position where they can't handle a downturn of the economy. So that's something that should not happen as well. Now, the other part is that if they are put into prisons, then that should not happen as well, because when you have have these terrorists put into other prisons within the United States, they're going to spread terrorism within our own prison system. And then that'll spread, and the other people that do get out, they're going to go out there and find other ways to attack. So that's going to end up costing a lot more money, and it's going to cause a lot more terror by allowing these prisoners to come back to the United States, whether in federal prisons or even just to let them go. The status quo is good. We need to keep it exactly as it is. See. I hope you will vote for opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, opposition. Thank you, audience. Thank you, partner. Without further ado, I want to go ahead and start. I want to just start where refreshing our argument. Our argument was that the executive branch should go ahead and change the status quo and actually do away with the system that is now in place at Guantanamo Bay on the island of Cuba and move these prisoners that we have there to Supermax in Colorado. So, noting that, we would not be in any way or shape or form releasing these prisoners, as the opposition was keen to mention. We will not be releasing them. They will not be released. They will stay in prison. They will be in the most secure prison on the continent of the United States. They will be in the heartland of America. They will be in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. They will not get away easily. And they will not be able to, therefore, commit more acts of terrorism, and they will, therefore, not negatively affect our economy. On the issue of the economy, I want to point out that it's actually very, very possible that us closing down Guantanamo Bay would help our economy in the long run. And here's why. People in the Middle East and Muslim people all over the world, they see Guantanamo Bay as a, let me set a metaphor. You are in suburbia, you own a house there, and your neighbor has an outhouse where whenever their children act badly, they send them there and waterboard them. You know, these people are sometimes citizens of the United States. They are, in many ways, they are part of the social contract, the social fabric of our country, and they are being sent away to another territory to be tortured many times and to have their religion decimated and insulted by the burning of the Quran, which has happened in the past, and other issues which happens there. But the point is that in the Middle East and other parts of the world, people see the Guantanamo Bay as a negative thing. They see it as something that negatively affects our hegemony. In the long run, our economy can actually be improved by making friends with more countries throughout the world, improving our trade system and our trade routes with these countries. So that's one way. I also want to go back to the idea that we, as the executive branch, would not be able to, that the solvency issue. This might be a de jure issue where, by law, it's hard for the executive branch to do this. But in a de facto outlook, it can actually happen. I mean, everyone knows that when Barack Obama was running for president and for several elections in the past, Guantanamo Bay has been a serious issue in the presidential elections. It's been an issue that's been discussed and debated in the national debates and throughout all campaign trails. It is something which the executive branch, in a de facto outlook, can seriously affect, and it can seriously change, and can seriously do away with, and should do away with, as we continue. The opposition also went ahead and mentioned that by keeping the status quo, we will be able to maintain hegemony. Hegemony is actually in many ways lost by this previous analysis that I mentioned of how people do not like Guantanamo Bay across the world. They also forgot to mention, or maybe they will mention next time, which is how actually keeping it open will maintain U.S. hegemony. They said that it would be good for patriotism, They didn't say how. They also said that this is the land of the free. It is the land of the free, but unfortunately these people are not free, and many of them have not been proven guilty, and according to our laws, you are innocent until proven guilty. And then next I want to go to the second dissent, which is that the release of prisoners would in some way lead to more terrorism. This is something that was not that does not fall under the auspices of this debate, because as we mentioned earlier, we framed the debate by saying that these prisoners would be sent to Supermax. So I want to keep on going with our ads and say that in the long run, U.S. Germany would be the thing to gain here. U.S. Germany would be in position to increase. It would be an increase of U.S. soft power throughout the world. And by U.S. soft power, we want to reiterate that we're trying to say that the U.S. would be in better position to be a diplomatic force for good in the world. A lot of times in several theaters, such as the United Nations or the World Trade Organization, or even the Conference of the Parties under the UNFCCC, these are things where U.S. needs the trust of the world to really move forward with things. We need to do things like curb climate change. We need to prevent nuclear warfare. We need to make sure that in the future the U.S. is not seen as a force for bad, for lack of a better term, but that people are willing and ready to work with us on all diplomatic theaters. And this is important because if we want U.S. Germany to continue being strong, to continue being something that can make the world a better place and make us a better country and make us a better people, we need to be able to really respect the laws of our own country. We cannot violate the laws of our own country. We cannot break them, because this is not a bending of the rules. This is a complete fracturing of the rules. In Guantanamo, there is it is a U.S. base, but it is not under U.S. laws. It is not being maintained under a system of U.S. laws. It is de jure, but de facto it's not. I want to make that very clear. Yes, I'll take the question.
What are the expected costs of transferring all the prisoners and keeping them in the Supermax?
Whatever the expected costs are, it would not be more than the expected gains that we can see from many economic benefits and diplomatic benefits that we'll see in the future. I mean, if we want to just put those costs in comparison to things like climate change, that the United States needs to maintain a strong diplomatic influence in the years to come, and this once again could help curb things like this and diplomatic warfare. The amount of money that we've been spending on moving these prisoners is minimal. It is completely astronomically low. So with that, I want to go ahead and end my brief. But I want to thank everyone for listening, and I hope to continue the debate. Thank you.